Hello all and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today in this particular video, we are going to talk about MLflow Model Registry. So this particular tutorial is a continuation video of my previous MLflow tutorials. So if you go into my channel and if you type MLflow tutorial playlist, you're gonna get all these three previous tutorials on MLflow. So I have discussed a lot of things about MLflow in detail, like what are the important terminologies involved in MLflow and while tracking the experiments, and also how you can use MLflow in your own ML pipelines, and then how you can hyper tune your parameters of your ML model, and then how you can store it in your MLflow and experiment with those hyperparameters in your MLflow interface. So all these things has been discussed in my previous videos. You can just go into the channel and just go and follow up this particular MLflow tutorial playlist. You want to get all those previous videos and then understand the MLflow in much detail. So this particular tutorial is in a continuation video for my all those previous videos. So MLflow, a model registry, is a part of MLflow. It helps us to take up the trained best model and register it as a production or a staging or any kind of archive model. So actually there are three things that we need to consider while taking up a model, right? So let's suppose we have followed all of the steps that we were looking for training up model. So we have got a best trained model available on our MLflow interface, and then from there we are going to choose our best model based on the size or based on the parameters or based on the metrics. So we're going to select a best model out of those experimented models, right? And then once we choose those particular models, we are going to register those models as a staging model or production model or archive model. So to do that, MLflow Model Registry will help us to tag those kind of model, whether to give that a particular best model in a staging or in a production, or you can archive it also, right? So this is the way that you can productionize, or you can say you can make the process very clear and understandable for the deployment engineers before deploying the model, like which are the models they should consider before deploying it, whether it should be staging model or production level model, right? So this is what the importance of the MLflow model registries comes into play. So it is not going to help you to deploy a particular model, but it's going to help you to tag a particular best model for certain staging area or production areas. So once you have this particular staging or production models tagged, then you're gonna deployment engineers or ML engineers can take up these particular models and start deploying it based on the tagging that you have provided. So this is the flow that one should follow before proceeding for deployment, right? So this is how the MLflow actually help us in particular tracking and setting up or registering up the particular model for the deployment. And then from there, once you have tagged the particular model as a production level model or staging model, then ML engineers or deployment engineers can take up those kind of models from here and then start proceeding for the deployment. So this is the way that you can take up, and it's a very crucial steps that are important when you are trying to develop an ML pipeline, right? So now let's look into these things in MLflow UI, like how we're gonna do it. So in my previous videos, we have trained a lot of models and we have tuned a lot of models by using hyperparameter tuning, right? So these are the models that are available. And then based on some criteria, I'm going to select some best models out of this particular trained model. So let me just take RMSE as a metric, and whichever the metric will be lowest. So we're going to take up that and choose a criteria to select a model, right? So let's suppose I'm going to take up RMSE as a metric, right, for choosing up my model criteria, like which are the best models available, right? So based on the RMSE, I'm going to take up RMSE with the lowest error and take up those models which has lowest RMSE. So I'm going to take up those models. So let's suppose this is a model and it has 0.672 RMSE and then followed by 0.713 and then 0.715, right? So these are the model I'm going to take up. And once I've selected these models, maybe you can open this particular model and understand the different parameters and artifacts that are there in this particular right? And then you can take up these models, and then you can start checking the different criteria that you can take up, right? So I can also see the size, the duration it took for training of the model. That could also be a parameter for selecting a particular model, like how many times, like how much time does a model takes to train. And then you can also check upon the size of the models, like what is the size of a particular model before you consider it for deploying. You can also check the parameters, metrics, and then also different criteria on which you can take up or you can consider a particular model for your staging or productionizing, right? So based out of those criteria, you can select some models. So I'm selecting this model, right? So I'm going to select this model for my staging. So once you select this particular model, once you click on this particular model, you're gonna see you want to click on this particular artifact and then model. You want to see a register model option is available. So once you click on this register model, you want to provide a new model. So you have to provide a name. So let's suppose I'm just testing it on wine quality dataset, right? So I'm going to provide a name called wine quality, and then it's going to register the model with the name of wine quality. So once I click this model register, so if you go on to this model section, right now we were in experiment sections. Now we want to go into the registry model section, right? So if you click on this models, you're gonna see that there has been a model that is registered with as a version 1. So this is the model that you took from the experimentation area, and then you realized that this particular model is best for the deployment or staging it. So you just selected those model and moved that into the registry model area, right? And then from there you can see that this is the version 1 model. And once you click on this, you're going to see the details of it, what are the inputs and what are the outputs you're going to see. And then you're going to also see some tags. You can also use some tags to name this particular thing, and you can also use the description tab to see the information. And if you click on this run, you're going to see the details of all the details of particular model, right? So this is the information that you can see over here. And then let's suppose you have this version 1 model, and now let's suppose I'm going to take up another model for my analysis. So just let me pick up this particular model and then register it again. So I already have created a particular model with the wine quality. So I'm going to select the same model with the same name, and then I will register it. So if you go into the model section, you're going to see there are 2 models available, right? Not showing version 2. Yeah, you can see that there are 2 models are available, that is version 1 and version 2. So version 1 was the recent the previous model that we selected, and the version 2 is the second best model you can say that I have selected. And then you can just use your version 1 and then you start tagging it to production area or a staging area. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this particular version 1 and you're going to tag it to, let's suppose, staging area. So I'm going to put this particular model into a staging area, and then that's how you're going to tag it. And then I'm going to use version 2 model for my productionizing area. So I'm going to put this particular model for production. So what's going to happen is, if you go into this model section, you're going to see that there are 2 models available, which is version 1 and version 2. So version 1 is in a staging area and version 2 is in production area. So what will happen now from here is you're going to expose this particular API to the ML engineers or to the deployment engineers, and they're going to look upon this particular interface, and they're going to understand, okay, this is the production model that you have trained and tagged it as a production model, and second best version model is staging model. So what ML engineers are going to do is they're going to take up this version 2 models from the production that you have tagged, and then they're going to take up this model and they're going to put it up for the deployment from here. So this particular MLflow Model Registry doesn't deploy any kind of model. It's just a part of or tagging a particular model, whether it should be in a staging area or it should be a production ready model. So that's how it will help you to productionize the things in a proper way, and ML engineers will get a more understanding once they click on this version 2 and they start interacting with this particular interface. So this is how they're going to understand the flow, and they're going to take up this particular best model for the production ready, right? So this is how MLflow registry works, and you can do the same things whatever I did just now. You can do the same thing with CLI commands. So let me just do that thing. If you are familiar with MLflow, there is also a MLflow client API that is available in MLflow. So what you can do is, instead of going through the MLflow UI, you can also interact the same things whatever you're going to do here in the UI. You can also interact everything using the MLflow client. So this is how you're gonna do it. So from MLflow, you can just import MLflow client, and then you can mention the MLflow tracking UI, and then you can start using it for the interaction with your MLflow database, right? Whatever you have created. So now let's suppose I want to interact with the MLflow UI. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just try to list out the experiments what are available in my MLflow, right? So with this MLflow client, you want to provide the MLflow tracking UI, which I have provided above, and then you want to use the list experiment method to list down the experiments that are available. So you can see I have two experiments available, which is 0 and 1. So 0 means default. So if you go into MLflow UI, you can see this is a 0, 1, and 1 quality is 1. So you can see there are two experiments, which is MLrun/1 and MLrun/0. So this one is default one, and this one is our custom 1 quality experiment. So this is the one that I am talking about. You can see experiment ID is 1, right? So these are the experiments that are available in our MLflow, and then you can just interact with the client. Like I just want to use client.search run, which will so what it will do is it's gonna take up the inputs. So let's suppose I'm going to use metric.rmsc greater than 0.7. That means whatever the models with root mean square greater than 0.7, I'm going to just pick up those particular models, and then I'm going to use an order by to arrange those particular ordering in a descending order, right? So this is what you can do, and the same thing you want to do it over here in the MLflow UI. If you type all this information here in the search section, you're gonna get the same results, right? So this is how you can also do it here in the client. So if I run this particular cell, and if I print out the information, you wanna see I'm going to get all these run IDs here, right? Even I can also do it here. So if you see, I'm going to use RMSE with descending order. If I type metrics.rmsc greater than 0.7, so I may get the results that I'm looking for. So if you see, these are the results that I got, and then if you compare it, I'm going to see I'm getting the same results, right? So this is how you're gonna get and interact with a particular MLflow with a particular MLflow client API, right? And now once you have this models with the exact RMSE that you're looking forward, now you can take up those run IDs from here, and then you can start interacting with ML model registry. So you're going to use this run ID, and you're going to mention this in a form of URI. So you're going to mention the location where the URI is sitting. So this is the particular model URI you're going to take up, and then MLflow has register model method, which gonna take up model URI, and then the name of the model, right? Like how we created the model over there in the UI, the same way we are going to create it here by using the MLflow client. So this is how you're gonna take up the run ID filtered from here, and then you're gonna put it up in a model URI, and then you're gonna register the model using the MLflow client, right? So this is how you're gonna track it. So you're gonna see I just took this particular first run ID, and I've registered it in the wine quality model, right? So you're gonna see the version 3 has been created. Right now we had only version 1 and version 2 model available over there, which was already in a staging and a production ready, right? But here you can see I have registered a new model using client MLflow client, and it has registered it as a version 3. So if I go into MLflow, I'm gonna go into models. You wanna check, now we have 3 versions of models available. You can see version 1, version 2, version 3. So version 3 is just created by this particular client right now, right? So this is how you can register the model by using this client. And now what you can do is you can just check up all those things, like what kind of versions of models are available on the MLflow UI. So this particular cell will help you to do so. So you can see version 1 model is in a staging area, version 2 model is in a production area, and then version 3 model has not been decided like which area it should be going through, right? So we have to decide it yet, right? We have to transition that particular model that we have just did it here, right? You have to transition that particular model into a particular region so that it can be helpful for ML engineers to take up this model and start preparing the deployment part, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to decide it to the production area for this particular version 3 model, right? So we're going to take up this version 3 model. So I'm going to specify version 3, and then I'm going to specify new stage. So it's going to take up this particular version 3 model from none to production area, right? So to do this, the client has MLflow client has a method called transition model version stage. So what it's going to do is it's going to take up this particular ML model name, which is wine quality, if you see it here, and then you're going to take up the version, which version of this particular model you're going to take up to a different version staging area, right? So this is where you're going to provide the version 3, and then you're going to take up a new stage. So what is the new stage you're going to transition into? So I'm going to transition this particular model into production stage, and then this particular argument help you to decide on which, like what you have to do it on existing versions. So let's suppose I have this version 2 model already running on production. Now I am transitioning version 3 to the production. Then what I have to do with this version 2? So that's how this particular argument will help you to archive the version 2 model into the archive section, and it will put version 3 into production section. So if I just make it true, so let me just run this particular cell, and you're gonna see that there are different versions that have gone into different production areas. So let me just run this particular cell again. Let me just copy this and then paste it here, and then just run this. So you're gonna see that there's a change, right? So you're gonna see that version 1 still is in a staging area, version 3 gone into production from none, and then version 2 got archived. So this particular argument helped you to switch that particular version 2 to archive and move that version 3 into the production ready. So that's how you're gonna decide it, like how you can move it from staging to the production and production to the archive region, right? So that's how you can tag a particular best models. And then once you have those models, right, available tagged, then what is the use case for the particular ML engineers would be to take up this production ready model and start using that production ready model to start tracking and start analyzing the things out and start getting the prediction out of this production model. So let's simulate the same environment, like how ML engineers would be taking up this production model, right? So for this, what we can do is, let's suppose ML engineers got this version 3 as a production model tagged, right? So production engineers will take up the data, and they're going to get the ready data like train, test, split. So this is what they're going to do it, and then they're going to have a MLflow function, Python function, and load model function from the client, and then they're going to specify the name of the model and the stage of a model. So and also they're going to take up this X text for prediction, and they're going to get the score of this particular model. So this particular function will actually help you to load up a model from a particular production area region, right? And it's going to help you to predict the results by using this particular model. So this is how it's going to help you to do so. So this particular Python function is available in MLflow registry also. So if you go into this particular version and you're going to explore this, you're going to see there is a documentation provided. So you can go and copy this particular function, and it is available in MLflow. So you can just take up this and load up a model, and then you're going to use the prediction function, normal prediction function, to predict out the text set, and you're going to get the result out of it, right? So this is how you can stimulate the environment of an MLflow or an ML engineer. So this is how you're going to stimulate the environment of an ML engineer, like how he would be doing, how he would be interacting with the production tagged model, right? So he's going to load up this particular data, and then he going to prepare the particular function, MLflow function, and then from here he going to just have to pass the model name. So model name is wine quality, right? And then which model he going to take up. So it's a production model, right? And the text data set and test real values, right? So you're going to take up and just test the RMSE score. You can also take up the staging model. So let me just change this as a staging model, right? So it's going to take up this staging model, which is version 1 model. And you can also take this archive model for the functioning. So That's how an ML genius can test out all these models once you tagged it in a particular model registry. So this is the whole flow that an ML flow can help you to provide, and you can develop all these things in an integration with the CI/CD pipeline. So all these things works in a flow of a ML flow, and then it will help you to organize the things out in a ML pipeline. So that's how the ML flow, the implementation looked like. And I hope this will be helpful for your creation of ML pipelines. And I hope you enjoyed this particular video. Thank you.